Hey, what's up guys? Caleb D is here, coming back to you after a good hiatus on a new deck profile that I made recently. I hadn't been playing for a lot of sets because it was Super Saiyan 3 everywhere, it was all Storm everywhere, so building decks wasn't as fun. So I took a little break, friends told me it's good again, came back, and after studying some cards, I found this cool deck idea that did really well. I went to my first tournament after a long time and did really good with it. So here it is on screen, and you can see, and I'll just talk about it. As you can see, it's a Dende deck, and if you're looking at all the cards, it's all Frieza, and it uses the engine that was made for Sorbet. Now you might be asking, why Dende over Sorbet? And there's a couple reasons. One is that the main one being Sorbet's ability requires a battle card to attack, and he only gets one Dragon Ball from that, which is, I guess, okay. You have to put in a bunch of 1-drops that get Dragon Balls, or the Bulma that puts a Dragon Ball directly into your discard, but it's really slow. You're definitely not, unless everything aligns, going to awaken turn 2, maybe turn 3 if everything works, but usually turn 4, and from what I've been told, a lot of this game is done at turn 4 now. So you want to really be aggressive. So that was one thing against him. One thing that Dende does have is Burst, which is really good for this deck because everything you're looking for is going into the drop area. So having Burst on top of getting 2 cards is really strong. More often than not, I think about 40% of the time when I was testing it, I could awaken turn 2. And if you're playing best of 3, that's going to happen a good amount of times. So it's really cool, and it's just a ton of pressure. This deck will swing from turn 2 on, and you can, as fast as turn 2, drop 2 Clan of Terrors, 1 Surprise Frieza, or 1 Clan of Terror, and then 1 Mecha Frieza to pop it. There's a lot of fun things to do with it. And so that's what makes it fun too. Yeah, you lose out on the Awaken ability from Namekians, but it's just so fun to go through it, it doesn't matter. So I'll talk about the cards and things you can tech in later. So let's just jump right into it. Obviously, 7 Dragon Balls, it's a Dende deck. Like I said, you can get it really fast. It's not uncommon to get a Dragon Ball in your burst. One thing with your opening hand is you'll want to at least hold on to 1 so you can be guaranteed 3 Dragon Balls. So that means turn 2 you get 5, turn 3 you get 7. That's usually really easy to pull off, especially if you're drawing into Dragon Balls and whatnot. Then you kind of have Dragon Radar here. Dragon Radar is a good card just in general, but mostly because it abuses the drop area by getting 2 cards from it, and you'll see this is one of your biggest engines in order to get cards back to really pop off the way you want to. So we have 4 Dragon Radars because you really want, so the main card in here is Revival of the Empire, and you want to be able to get that card consistently over and over again to abuse with Piccolo's ability when he's on his Awakened Leader side. So Dragon Radar allows you to do that. It allows you to draw more cards. Let's say you didn't hit everything you wanted to. You could just use 1 Dragon Radar, get 2 more Dragon Balls, search the top 7 if you want to get lucky. So it provides you with a lot of abilities to kind of adapt, and that's especially for a card game like Dragon Ball. You want to be able to adapt a lot. Surprise Attack Freeze, I have it too. You can probably raise this, but with you popping cards off of Mecha Frieza's ability, you're going to be able to free play it a lot. And so he's a lot of fun to just play at early and then swing with crit. A card I always like, doesn't really necessarily need to be here, but Battering Laser. You're going to run into a lot of negates. I definitely ran into a lot of negates with Janemba, with Brawly. So you're going to see that. So even 2, you might want to up it, or you might want to take it out if you want to be even more aggressive. But since set 1, I've always liked Battering Laser, so if I'm running a yellow deck, chances are you're going to see me running it because stopping a counter is a really strong situation. Time Magic, I have it at 3. I think it could be bumped up to 4 with the way the meta worked when I played the last tournament, especially with stuff like Janemba. They don't really care about hitting you hard, or they only care what they're doing with themselves, like Brawly, like Baby. Baby is actually probably the one that this works best on right now, and it does kill Baby decks, so I'll get into that a little bit later. But Time Magic is good because usually turn 1 you'll have enough cards in your discard pile because you've bursted, and if you have at least 3 Dragon Balls, boom, you've hit your Sparking already, and you can Time Magic turn 1. You don't really need to, but it's just nice to know you have that ability, so this is just a great card. You want to use it a lot of times from your life instead of paying 1 energy, but there are sometimes you want the energy, and it's all about playing with the game. Vicious Lackey Togoma. He allows you to draw Revival of the Empire. One thing to note is you'll see I have Frieza's Call in here. Just know that it says play from hand, so you can't freeze this call into Lackey Tagoma, so just keep that in mind that it's a card for your hand, but he is a very good card to keep in your hand when it comes to Mulligan. I'll be talking a lot about Mulligan with this deck a little bit later, but he just draws your Revival of the Emperors from the deck or drop area. You usually want to draw them from the deck just so they can get out, so you have them in your hand and put that back in your drop so you can Dragon Radar them, but it's a good turn 1 play if you don't have Revivals or if you only have 1 and you want 2. 2 is usually the magic number for Revival. It actually is the magic number, so he allows that to happen. Again, just a good card. You can throw him on the board to combo and whatnot. Frieza's Call. Frieza's Call is more for the cheeky plays. I would actually say that after running it in the tournament, you don't really need it, but it is cool to turn 1 Sorbet or turn 1 in Frieza's Command, Military Command. That being cases with Military Command, for instance, a big brain play that I was doing on people that they wouldn't want to do is that he's a blocker, but you just read it out to them that he gets a 3-drop when he's blocked. Usually makes people worried about swinging, and then say they don't, and so it just allows you to keep a free blocker on or trick them. Or if you do have the 3-drop in your hand, get a free 3-drop out, and so you can just have it out on the board in order to attack with it, which is really cool. Sorbet, again, these do come out in rest mode, so Sorbet is more of a big, like, if you really need cards in your discard, and you need all your freezes in your discard. So if you just haven't hit them and you, like, you do have, like, let's say you have 2 Revivals Emperor in hand, but you just don't have any freezes in the drop area, that's, he's a card because he works on the ability Battle. When it's your turn, you pitch a card and you allow it to combo 2 cards. You're really actually using him more for the combo 2 cards to get them in your drop. Yeah, he works really well when you swing with him and then you do get 2 attack with 2 Freeze the Army, which almost everybody in your deck is, but he's more so as an engine to get cards into your drop area. Obviously, if you're playing the Dilemma, don't do that. Anything that mills your deck, don't do that, but it's just something that you can do. And the other target for it is Frieza's Revenge in Motion. You free play it, and then allow to, or play for 1, I'm sorry, and then allow any one of your 4-cost freezes to go into your drop area on top of drawing a card, so it is a nice card to have too. So it just allows you to, again, adapt really early on to what you want to do. Do you want to get a card in your discard pile? Do you want to get a blocker out there? Just a lot of cool ways to play Frieza's Call. But it being just an extra card, you don't really need it, so this would be a card, for instance, that would be really good at tech. So we just talked about Frieza's in Motion. It's a very easy card to get cards into your drop area. One thing, again, too, Dende is really good at bursting, so if you burst into the Friezas, it's good. Sometimes you don't hit that, so this is a good also turn 1 play to get a 4-drop in your discard zone. And then the MVP of the deck is Revival of the Empire. It takes a yellow Shenron leader, and that's the other reason why we're using this as opposed to a black Shenron or a blue Shenron is this card requires a yellow Shenron leader, so the only viable targets are Sorbet and Dende. And you choose 1 Frieza in your drop area and play it, so if you bursted with Dende in the turn 1, got a Frieza in the drop area, and then played this turn 2, hard casting it, you're going to do a lot of hard casting on top of using the ability. That means that you can get 2 Friezas out in a turn, and that's what happens a lot. If you can awaken turn 2, and you do have 2 Revival of the Empire, if you have enough Friezas in there, yeah, you play 1 Frieza, you play another Frieza, like 2 Claniteres. Right here, you get to see 2 cards, take them out of their deck. You get to make them weaker. You can take 1 card out and play this card, and then again, free play Surprise Attack Frieza. This is all on turn 2, and so you were very aggressive turn 2 on. So, but it's all off of this card. This is your most important card in the deck, and so if you can get, you need to at least get 1 in your opening hand. When you're mulliganing, this is the card you're mulliganing for. Military Command Frieza, I like him. He's cool. He's interesting. He is actually the reason I put these 2 Friezas in here. But I had noticed I didn't use him very much. I did get that play I was talking off where I put him down and people were like, I'm not going to swing. I know you have something in your hand. And you don't. So it's cool. He can do some fun, interesting things, but I noticed that I didn't use him too often. So he is there to has a blocker or get the 3-drop Deadly Defender out or the Back from Hell Frieza. 4 super combos. I actually was told to put these in here because I forgot to put super combos in. From my playtesting, you don't really need the super combos. They're nice, they do help, and they are good because, again, Sparking goes off turn 1, so you can just use them if you're like really looking for cards. But yeah, I'd use them a lot of time when I'm swinging in Double Strike on turn 2 or turn 3 to really guarantee the 2 hits when they're at 5 life or they're at 3 life, and then I can start the pressure. But it's going to sound odd, but you can tech these cards out if you need to. But again, if you're looking for a super combo, these are the ones to have because it is a sparking combo. Frieza Back from Hell, he's really simple. You play him. He is 20k and he stays 20k. You can only have one out on a time, but he's a neat card. And the fact that he can rip a card directly because you do qualify for his second ability by being a yellow Shenron card. Excuse me, and his ability is if they have 7 cards in the rest mode, including their leader, including their energy, you can deal 1 damage to them. The way the game works right now, and I learned this from going to that tournament, was that you don't have a lot of people either tapping or untapping. If they're playing blue, they're going to play the counter card that untaps 2 energy. They're always going to untap 2 energy. They're warping stuff. So there was very few times that it came down to 7 energy tapped, so I actually never used this ability once. I did play a locals and had it used and it was cool, but I mean, I played I think close to 20 games so far with this and only used it once, so it's not a very good thing to use, but a 20k 3-drop that you can play for free off a military command is kind of good. So that's something to consider, and you might run into somebody that does tap a lot of energy out, but as of right now that's not the case. So then we have Deadly Defender, very self-explanatory, a 3-drop that makes it so they have to hit him before your leaders. It works really good for Baby, and it just keeps you there. And then the other cards you're just going to want 4 of course, of both, is Clan of Terror. He's probably the strongest card you have in the deck. You play him turn 2, you look at their hand, take out their energy trunks, take out their combo pieces. If it's Baby, take out his small dudes and small babies that he evolves into. If it's Brawly, take out any of the Brawly pieces. If you can guarantee that you can pop them, do things that he is your best card, but he's also the biggest brain card because you have to see, do I take that out? Like, you definitely don't want to take out the 6-drop Baby and then you just kill yourself, or he has a bunch of crazy effects. You don't want to take out anybody that keeps double strike or things that'll keep it out early. So super combos are big targets for him. Anything that gets back energy is big targets for him. Anything that makes you mill things for very easy are all good targets for him, especially so early. They'll only have 5 or 6 cards in hand, so it's easy to pick targets. Plus, it gives you the ability to see what they're going to do. If you can see that they have 3 counters in hand, then yeah, maybe you want to hold on to Battering Laser. If you look at it and realize they don't really run counters, then you can get rid of your Battering Laser. So he gives you the ability to see what's going on and really set the momentum from there. And then Mecha Frieza right here. This is something that has come up a lot since our first set, is that he does get dual attack and double strike on first summon no matter what, even if you pitch a card or don't. So it's just the way that the text's written. Super weird. I don't get why. I understand it's the period and then, but the rules are, and it still holds up, that when you play him you get dual attack and double strike, which, yeah, he owns only 15k, but you get a lot of use out of it so early, and even just swinging twice with dual attack after he's on the board works really well. And then when you do have all these cards out, you want to be smart with your plays too, because that's basically the whole deck. So there was a lot of times when I would like swing in once with Mecha Frieza, restand him, swing in with Clan of Terror, combo with him from the board, and then use Revival of the Empire to bring him back to give him another attack. And like I said, you can swing for like 9 damage turn 2, you can swing for 6 damage and see what they have, really cripple them. So it's a lot of fun super early that gives you a lot of options just early on, and it's a deck that can win turn 3 and mess up a lot of decks that win turn 4. You're going to have issues with Janemba, like I was mentioning before, because he is about his mill, and you're milling like 20 cards turn 1, so it definitely means you're only going to be going to turn 4, but you know, I went pretty, you can go even if you play smart, and the deck, it seems super easy, but it does take some love to kind of play. I would say like maybe 10 or so games to really feel what you're doing. And like I was saying, there's a lot of cards in here that you can tech out. And the cards you want to tech in are things that can give you either more aggression or more defense. So maybe putting in counters like Nimbus, putting in Champas is a good option, because if you're swinging in with Surprise Attack Frieza, you can trick him by swinging with Double Strike. If you have your dual attack and he's only on the board after, and he doesn't have his Double Strike anymore, you can give it back to him. If you're swinging with Piccolo and you use Piccolo's ability, that's the other thing too, is you have to realize that Piccolo can actually attack in this deck, so use that to your advantage. But yeah, more often than not, your turn 2 or 3 is going to be you evolve Piccolo here, and then you use his ability to free cast Revival of the Empire, you hard cast it so you get 2 of them out at 1 turn, and then you use Dragon Radar when you can in order to get that stuff back. And that's basically the deck here. So I would venture to say explore with it, use things that I think would make it better. If you have any good ideas, like I said, you can probably take out the Frieza's Call, the 1-drops, the 3-drops, and really put in a lot of defense or add more aggression with Champas and that Kai that does the same thing as Champa. So there's a lot of avenues to take. So like I was saying, talking about mulliganing, when you mill your cards for the hands, again, this is your, I would say the most important card is this card right here. Everything else can kind of belong in the drop area. Second place would be this card, and so because you want at least maybe 1 and 1, because it would guarantee that you can bring it back from drop to use it again. Tagoma is probably another good number 3, I would say, and then anything else you can kind of keep if you want. Dragon Balls actually would be number 3 right there with Tagoma, because you want to keep 1 there, as at least 3, so you know you can guarantee a turn 3 Awaken. And so those are the main things. You want to really hold on to your Revival and make sure that the deck hits hard, quick, because if you don't have one of these in your first turn, or second turn at least, you're losing a lot of momentum, and this deck is all about really setting up quick, bursty, bully momentum. When it comes to charging energy, make sure you don't charge any black cards. I know sometimes you'll be in a situation where you're like, I want to charge Dragon Radar, or something like that. I know it's your only card here, but I wouldn't. You might have more black cards to phase in if you take some of these cards out. Like, one great card that I've been considering for the Janemba matchup is the Dangerous Journey Bulma. She puts card backs into your deck so you can have more hits, essentially more life, before he mills you out. And that's real good, and that's another black card. If you do that, because I had messed around with putting things in and out, I would say don't charge them. There's so many times when, because Revival costs 2 yellow energies, because a lot of your 1-drops cost 1 yellow energy, you're going to want that extra energy, so I would say avoid that at all costs. One card that I have in my sideboard that I actually forgot to do right here is the Vegeta striving to be the best. He can pop a lot of cards, because I know a lot of the plays right now is baby plays to put Strategies of the Universe to give their babies barrier, and that's just an easy pop to destroy it. So he is another really good card that I actually say is probably worth mainboarding from this sense in the games I've played so far. But he's just another strong card to get energy back, to put on pressure, to just keep things the way you want, because you want to control the board, and it's so easy for you, and that card just makes it even easier, especially if you're playing Janemba and they play any of the barrier cards like Deadly Defender. Silky Johnson is online, that's pretty cool. I don't know who that is. But yeah, that is essentially the Dende deck. There's a lot of things that make it fun. I would suggest, if you're interested, trying it out. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. But this here is a Super Playaz exclusive, and I'm Caleb, and hopefully I'll make more decks and more profiles in the future. But until then, guys, have fun playing Dragon Ball. Alright, take care.